The bank statement was still warm from the printer when I saw the name. Not my name, not my husband's name. A name I had never heard in 26 years of marriage. My hands started shaking before my brain caught up with what I was looking at. I'm Denise Carter. I'm 58 years old. And 2 hours ago, I was just a woman organizing paperwork for our accountant, getting ready for tax season like I do every February. Now I was standing in my kitchen in Charlotte, North Carolina, holding proof that something was very wrong. The account was labeled Marcus Retirement IRA Rollover. I recognized the account number. I'd seen it on statements for 15 years. What I didn't recognize was the recurring monthly withdrawal, $3,000, every month, wired to an address in Savannah, Georgia. We don't know anyone in Savannah. I sat down at the kitchen table because my legs didn't feel steady anymore. I told myself there had to be an explanation. Maybe it was an idle investment. Maybe it was a loan to a friend Marcus never mentioned. Married people don't share every single detail, I told myself. That's normal. But $3,000 a month, for what looked like years, going to the same address? That's not a detail. That's a second life. I heard Marcus's truck pull into the driveway. I had about 90 seconds to decide something. Do I show him the statement and watch his face? Or do I fold it up, put it back exactly where I found it, and find out the truth for myself before he has a chance to explain it away? I folded the paper. I slid it into my cardigan pocket. Whatever this was, I was going to understand it before he told me a single word. Marcus and I met at a church picnic in 1999. I was 31, recently done with a marriage that taught me not to trust easily. He was steady, patient. He worked 22 years at the same freight company before retiring last spring, and I built a small bookkeeping business out of our spare bedroom. We weren't rich, but we were careful. We paid off the house 11 years ago. We put both our kids through college without loans. People used to ask us how we did it, and Marcus always gave the same answer. You don't spend what you don't have, and you don't hide anything from your partner. I believed him. For 26 years, I believed him completely. Looking back now, there were small things I explained away because that's what you do when you love someone and you've built a whole life together. 2 years ago, Marcus started taking phone calls on the back porch instead of in the house. He said it was insurance stuff. I didn't question it. He handled our retirement accounts and I handled the business books. That's how we divided things. Then there was the trip to Savannah. He said it was for an old army buddy's funeral. He was gone 3 days. I remember thinking it was strange he didn't want me to come, but grief makes people want to be alone sometimes. I let it go. And 6 months ago, our daughter Renee mentioned she'd tried calling him on a Tuesday afternoon and it went straight to voicemail, twice. Marcus said his phone died. I didn't think anything of it at the time. 3 small things. Alone, they meant nothing. Now, sitting in my car in the church parking lot where I'd driven just to have somewhere quiet to think, those 3 things lined up in my head like dominoes. Insurance calls he didn't want me to hear. A trip to the exact city on that statement. A phone that conveniently died during hours he couldn't explain. I gripped the steering wheel and made myself breathe. Marcus was inside the house right now, probably wondering where I'd gone. I'd told him I needed to run to the pharmacy. He had no idea I'd already seen the statement. He had no idea I was sitting 3 miles away, staring at his handwriting on an insurance form from years ago, comparing it to the account paperwork on my phone. The signature matched. Whatever Marcus Retirement IRA rollover really was, he had set it up himself, and he had made sure it stayed buried under a name I'd trust, his own retirement. I wasn't going to confront him tonight. Not until I knew exactly what, or who, $3,000 a month in Savannah was paying for. I didn't sleep that night. I lay next to Marcus, listening to him breathe, feeling like I was lying next to a stranger. The next morning, after he left for his Tuesday golf game, another routine I'd never questioned, I sat down at my desk with my laptop and did what I do best. I opened the books. 22 years of managing other people's finances teaches you how to find things people don't want found. I started with our joint retirement statements going back 5 years. Marcus had always handled the login, but I had access. I was still listed as a beneficiary and joint account holder. It took me 40 minutes to find the pattern. The withdrawals didn't start recently. They started 4 years ago. Twice a month at first, smaller amounts, $400 here, $600 there. Then, about 2 years ago, It consolidated into one clean monthly transfer of $3,000, always on the 3rd of the month, always to the same account. I traced the routing number. It belonged to a credit union in Savannah, Georgia. My chest tightened, but I kept going. I needed a name. I remembered Marcus once mentioning, offhand years ago, that he'd helped a young man named Kobe get back on his feet after a rough patch, a nephew of an old army friend. I hadn't thought about that conversation in years, but something about it nagged at me now. I searched the address tied to the Savannah wire transfers using the property records website I use for client research. It took less than 5 minutes. The house belonged to a woman named Angela Price. I stared at that name for a long time. I didn't know her. I had never heard Marcus say it. But when I searched further, property tax records showed the house had been purchased 8 years ago, and Marcus's name appeared as a co-signer on the original loan. 8 years, co-signer. That wasn't a nephew's rough patch. That was something else entirely. I sat back in my chair, my hands cold despite the warm kitchen. Whatever this was, an affair, a secret family, a hidden financial obligation, my husband had built it quietly, piece by piece, for nearly a decade, using money that was supposed to be our shared future. I closed the laptop before I let myself fall apart. Falling apart wouldn't get me answers. I needed to know who Angela Price was to him, and I had a feeling the woman who could tell me wasn't going to be Marcus. I called my niece Tasha that Wednesday. She's 29, sharp, and works as a paralegal at a family law firm downtown. I trusted her more than anyone else to help me look at this clearly, without emotion clouding the facts. "Aunt Denise," she said after I explained everything, "before you do anything else, you need to pull his full financial history, not just the retirement account, everything. If there's one hidden account, there could be more." She was right. That afternoon, while Marcus was at his weekly card game with the men from church, I went through every drawer in his home office. In the back of a filing cabinet, behind old tax returns, I found a folder labeled KP, School. Inside were report cards, a middle school report card, then a high school one. The name on them was Kobe Price, not a nephew of an old army friend, a son. My stomach dropped, but I kept reading. There was a birth certificate photocopy tucked in the back. Kobe Price, born 16 years ago. Father listed, Marcus Carter. 16 years. Marcus and I had been married 10 years by then. I sat on the floor of his office for a long time, just looking at that paper, not screaming, not crying, not yet. Just trying to understand how a man could sit across from me at dinner for 16 years, help our daughter with her wedding, hold our grandson at his baptism, and carry this the entire time. Tasha helped me understand the legal picture once I told her what I'd found. The house in Savannah, co-signed with retirement funds that were technically marital assets, meant Marcus hadn't just been unfaithful. He had been using money that legally belonged to both of us to build a second household, and possibly putting our retirement and my future at serious risk. "Aunt Denise," Tasha said carefully, "does he know you know?" "No," I said, "and he's not going to. Not yet." I needed to see the full picture first. How much money, how many accounts, how many years of lies were sitting underneath the man I thought I knew completely. Because if Marcus had hidden a son for 16 years, I needed to find out what else he'd hidden before I said a single word to him. It took me 11 days to build the full picture. 11 days of smiling at Marcus over dinner, asking about his golf game, sleeping beside him, while quietly gathering everything I needed. Tasha connected me with a forensic accountant she'd worked with on other cases, a woman named Patrice, who specialized in uncovering hidden marital assets. Patrice went through everything I'd found and traced it further than I ever could have alone. What she found was worse than I imagined. The Savannah house wasn't the only hidden asset. There was a second account, a small business account registered to MC Consulting, which didn't exist as any real consulting business. Its only purpose, as far as Patrice could tell, was moving money between Marcus's retirement withdrawals and Angela Price's household expenses, disguised as consulting fees, so it wouldn't raise questions on a joint tax return. Over 16 years, Patrice estimated Marcus had funneled more than $110,000 into that second life. Money that should have gone toward our retirement. Money I had helped earn, dollar by dollar, building my bookkeeping business from our spare room. I asked Marcus to sit down with me on a Sunday evening. I told him I wanted to talk about our retirement planning, something we genuinely needed to revisit before he turned 62. It wasn't a lie, it just wasn't the whole truth. He sat across from me at the same kitchen table where I'd first seen that statement 3 weeks earlier, completely unaware of what I had in the folder on my lap. "I want to ask you something," I said, keeping my voice steady. "Who is Angela Price?" I watched his face change, not shock, something closer to resignation, like he'd always known this day might come. "Denise, and who is Kobe?" He didn't answer right away. When he finally spoke, his voice was quiet. "He's my son." I already knew, but hearing him say it out loud, in our kitchen, after 26 years of marriage, was a different kind of pain than reading it on paper. 16 years, Marcus," I said. "You let me plan a life with you. You let me trust you with everything. And you were building a second family with money that belonged to both of us." He started to explain. An affair early in our marriage, a child he said he meant to tell me about eventually. Arrangement he'd convinced himself was manageable as long as I never found out. I let him talk, and when he was finished, I placed the folder on the table between us, the property records, the account statements, the forensic accounting report Patrice had prepared. "I'm not here to yell," I told him. "I already know everything. I've known for 11 days. I just needed you to hear yourself say it before I decide what happens next." For the first time in our marriage, Marcus didn't have an explanation ready. He just sat there, staring at the evidence of 16 years he thought he'd hidden well enough. He hadn't. The weeks after that conversation didn't unfold the way movies make you think Betrayal unfolds. There was no dramatic packing of suitcases that same night. No screaming match that woke the neighbors. Just a long, heavy quiet that settled into the house like weather. I told Marcus I needed time before I decided anything permanent. Not because I was unsure about staying married to him. I already knew that door was closed. But because Patrice had made it clear that how I handled the next few months mattered enormously for my financial future. I met with a divorce attorney recommended by Tasha's firm, a woman named Judge Ellery, no relation to any actual judge, just her family name, which she joked about at our first meeting to ease the tension. She reviewed everything Patrice had compiled and told me plainly, because the Savannah house and the MC Consulting account had been funded with marital assets, I had a strong legal claim to a significant portion of what Marcus had billions hidden. "He didn't just betray you emotionally," she said. "He committed financial misconduct in a marriage. Courts take that seriously." I told our daughter Renee first. She cried, then got angry, then asked the question I hadn't let myself ask yet. Did she have a brother she'd never known about? I told her the truth. Yes, a half-brother named Kobe, 16 years old, who had grown up 60 miles from us his entire life without either of us knowing he existed. Renee needed time to process that. So did I. Marcus moved into an apartment near his brother's place in April. He tried, several times, to explain himself further, to soften what he'd done, to ask if there was any version of working through this. I told him the same thing each time. This wasn't about anger anymore. It was about the fact that I no longer knew which parts of our marriage had been real and which parts had been management. The divorce proceedings took 8 months. Judge Ellery secured a settlement that recognized my claim to the retirement funds and the hidden assets, enough to rebuild my financial footing without starting from zero at 58. But the money wasn't what changed me most. What changed me was waking up every morning in a house that was fully, only mine. Making decisions without checking them against someone else's story. Rebuilding my bookkeeping business, which had quietly grown while I wasn't paying attention to anything but survival, into something bigger than it had ever been while I was managing Marcus's secrets too. I wasn't the same woman who'd found that bank statement in February. That woman had been careful, trusting, and afraid of what she might find if she looked too closely at her own life. The woman I was becoming looked closely at everything, and she wasn't afraid anymore. There was still one more piece of this story I hadn't faced yet. Not Marcus, not the money. Kobe. I hadn't planned to meet him. I told myself it wasn't my responsibility, that a 16-year-old boy's existence wasn't something I needed to personally address. Marcus was his father. That relationship, whatever it became, was between them. But Renee reached out to me one evening in the fall, months after the divorce was finalized, and told me something that changed my mind. "Kobe found out about us," she said. "He asked Dad if he had other family. Dad told him about me. He didn't mention you at all." Something about that, Marcus erasing me even from the truth he was finally telling, made me angrier than almost anything else in this entire ordeal. I thought about it for 2 weeks. Then I asked Renee to set up a meeting, just the 3 of us, at a coffee shop in Savannah. Not as a reunion, not as forgiveness, as something closer to closure. Kobe was quiet at first, understandably guarded. He looked like Marcus around the eyes, which caught me off guard more than I expected. But, as we talked, I realized this boy hadn't asked to be born into a secret. He hadn't asked to be used as a hidden line item in someone else's deception. He was just as much a person Marcus had failed as I was. "I'm not angry at you," I told him honestly. "None of this was your doing." Before I left, I gave him something I'd been holding on to, an old photograph Renee had found, one of Marcus as a much younger man, the same age Kobe was now. I told him he deserved to know where he came from, even if the way he found out was wrong. Driving home from Savannah that day, I understood something I hadn't fully grasped until that moment. This entire story, the hidden account, the years of lies, the discovery, the fight to reclaim what was mine, had never really been about revenge. Getting the financial settlement mattered. It gave me security, but it wasn't what made me whole again. What made me whole was realizing I was capable of uncovering the truth, facing it without falling apart, and building a life on the other side of it that was entirely my own. I didn't need Marcus's explanations anymore. I didn't need his version of events. I had found the truth myself, piece by piece, the same careful way I'd built every part of my career. At 59, I bought a small house near my daughter, started mentoring young women in my church who were rebuilding their own finances after difficult marriages, and grew my bookkeeping business into something I was, for the first time, doing entirely for myself. Marcus's secret cost me 16 years of a marriage I thought was real, but finding it gave me back something I hadn't realized I'd lost long before that, my own certainty in myself. Looking back now, I think about how close I came to putting that bank statement back in the drawer and never asking another question. It would have been easier, in the short term, to let it go. But easy isn't the same as honest. And I had spent too many years of my life not looking closely enough at the truth. If you're listening to this and something in your own life doesn't add up, a statement that doesn't match what you were told, a feeling you can't quite explain, trust that instinct. You don't have to confront anyone right away, but give yourself permission to look. You deserve the truth, even when it's hard. If this story moved you, I'd love for you to subscribe and join me for more real, emotional stories about women finding their strength after betrayal. Drop a like if you believe the truth is always worth finding, no matter how long it takes. And I want to ask you something before you go. If you discovered something like this about someone you trusted for years, would you confront them right away, or would you gather the full truth first, like I did? Let me know in the comments. I read every one. Thank you for listening. I'll see you in the next story.